Hey YouTube world, I am back with another video. As you can see, I am back in Nashville for a couple of weeks and I just want to get right into it. This has become a three-part series to my Hermes journey. Apparently, I created my own Hermes journey. As you saw in my previous two videos, I was panic selling my bags in preparation of buying my Birkin 35, right? And out of the 7 bags, I still have 3 left in my possession. So this Chanel being one of them. And if you haven't seen those 2 first videos, I'll link them for you and go check it out. As you saw in the title, I am so done with Rebag. Everything I'm about to cover in this video is my personal experience. So do what you will with this information. I really hope that you don't have to go through what I did. Let me tell you what happened. Also, if you want to hit that subscribe button for me, if you haven't done so already, stay tuned to the end of the video. I did spend a couple hours this week planning out my next few videos. Let me know what you think of the topics and let me know in the comments which one you want to see first. So let's get right into it. I think most of you are familiar with Rebag by now, so I won't go into how it works. And I think Rebag is very different and has like a great business model that's very different from all the other Preloved platforms out there. I like how they give you like an instant quote, so you don't have to wait around like a week with upload a bunch of pictures for quotes, right? I've been selling and trading with Rebag for 2 years now. I've sold and traded over 25 pieces with them. So that's a lot, right? And just to name a few, I've traded my Gucci Marmont. I had a Chloe Marcy mini. There's a couple Hermes pieces. I also have given up my Valentino little rock stud crossbody, and then the Givenchy soft Antigona. Again, that's just naming a few, right? And I had a bunch of like Gucci wallets and card holders that, again, I don't really want to carry SLGs anymore by designers. I like using stuff from Dress Up Your Purse, something very, durable and, a lot more cost effective, right? So I've traded a lot of those pieces in over the years. And I really like how if I'm interested in a particular piece, I can take one of my current pieces from my own collection, whether it's a bag and a wallet or 2 bags or whatever it is, and trade it in for a new to me bag that I do want. So this is one of them, right? The Neo Noe. And I had a good experience with that, trading in pieces that I don't want in my collection anymore and replacing it with something I do want. And I also like that I don't have to fork over actual money in order to obtain these pieces and go through the hassle of buying and of course selling my existing pieces. It's nice to just like, here you go, take my 2 bags and or wallet, whatever it is, and they send you the new bag. So it's a really cool, like I said, business model. It's a neat experience for people who don't actually want to pay out of pocket for new pieces, right? And it also helps you save on taxes because technically there is no cash exchange. You do have to pay taxes if there's like a slight difference. Let's just say, you're still $500 short or maybe $100 short. You do have to pay taxes on that difference. So again, a great business model. I also got like the LV Mazarine. That's also how I got my Dior vanity bag. And then a Prada mini tote that I have since sold to my friend. I was like a diamond, status with them. So you can say that I'm a really good Rebag customer and or supplier, right? That's just to give you some context on my history with them. So this is what happened. So out of those 7 pieces that you saw in my previous video that I've gone through my collection and I started panic selling, right? And of the 2 of them, I used their Insta Trade like clear quote or whatever it's called, and got a quote for the YSL Sunset bag as well as the Celine Phantom. And of course, I was doing this at like 2 in the morning. So I came across a Hermes Evelyn TPM. It was I think it was like maybe a year or 2 years old. I can't remember. I'll have to look up the listing, but it was in pretty much brand new condition, right? And it came with dust bag, full set, like a box and everything. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. Okay, maybe I should just be selling my bags and not trading it in. But I really wanted an Evelyn TPM, so I thought this was a great investment and opportunity. So I decided to go ahead and send those 2 bags in. And after a coupon, because they were doing like a 10% off coupon, I think I was only had to pay an additional $500 on top of that, which I was completely okay with. I was doing the math. If I were to be offered one in Europe versus here, if I were to pay over retail, but then with the trade-in, again, I did my logic all at like 2 a.m. and it came out to be about the same price, right? And so to me, it was an acceptable trade. So I got really excited. I packaged up everything really nicely and sent it off to Rebag, right? And if you guys know the process, they give you a shipping label with a package label. You package it up nicely and you just drop it off at FedEx or UPS or whatever it is, right? So they receive the package. The story goes on. It gets infuriating. The story goes on. I get a notification that they received it. They're inspecting the bags, right? And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, the Celine is definitely an authentic bag. And then of course the YSL. And again, if you saw my unbagging or unboxing, whatever, for the YSL Sunset bag, I got that from Last Chance, a discount store owned by Nordstrom's, right? I was out walking my dog and all of a sudden I get an email that says, your YSL Sunset bag does not fit within our internal guidelines, quote unquote, right? It does not fit within our internal guidelines. So I'm just like, what? What does that even mean? And at the bottom there, it says that your Celine was accepted for the cost of what we're offering you. And because the YSL does not fit our internal guidelines, we need to send that bag back to you. And you will have to fork over another $1,800 in order to secure this Hermes Evelyn TPM. I'm just like, no, I'm not about to drop $1,800 on a bag that I wasn't intending on spending money on, right? Instantly, I was like, okay, let me go home and see what's going on. So I used their chat function, which they connected me to a live person, but this live person that they hired is just like a freaking robot. I was so mad. They just heard certain keywords I was saying and then punting out basically a script they're reading off of. I'm like, can you please explain to me what not within our internal guidelines means? Are you saying it's not an authentic product, or is there a flaw in the bag, or is there something? Nothing. They said, we have a strict procedure when it comes to our inspection process, and it did not fulfill our internal guideline. The person just kept repeating that over and over again. So I was like, okay, I give up. I'm done with this chat. So let that go for a night. The next day, I actually called Rebag. It was the same thing. They basically just read off a script. They wouldn't tell me what the actual reason was for not accepting the bag. The bag is brand new. There are no flaws on it. And I showed it to you all via video, right? So you guys saw it was a brand new bag. There's nothing wrong with it. Authentication card came with it, et cetera, et cetera. But then they made me question myself, is this a fake bag? But I was like, that can't be it. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But again, it started making me doubt myself. Did I get a fake bag? But then I was like thinking, well, Last Chance is owned by Nordstrom's, and also Last Chance does not have a return policy. So I understand if you're thinking about like, hey, if you bought this bag and you think it's real from like TJ Maxx or Marshalls or whatever, mostly TJ Maxx, or even Nordstrom Rack, there's a return policy when you buy these designer brands. And there's some scummy people out there that would go purchase the bag, buy a fake bag, because Nordstrom Rack has and TJ Maxx has a pretty long return window, so like 30 days. So they have the time to go buy a fake bag or a replica bag and then just return it. And the employees at Nordstrom Rack, they're not authenticators. They don't touch. They're like, oh, what's this? It's a bag. Cool. Return it and then put it back on the shelf, right?
And just cutting in here, the employees couldn't have done it because there are literally cameras everywhere that has to do with Nordstrom. Their loss prevention system is insane.
But Last Chance does not have a return policy. Everything you buy in there is final sale. So the chances of that happening is basically none, right? That can't happen. So basically, I also continue that conversation, going back to like the phone call. I was like, well, I don't want to pay $1,800, right, just to get this Evelyn TPM. Is there a different bag? Because I was selling 7 of them, right? And I was just looking at what could I swap it in for, right? And they're like, unfortunately, we cannot swap out. Once the order has been done, either you take it, pay the $1,800, or we return both bags to you. At this point, I was just pissed off, and I was like, okay, just return the bags. I don't want to deal with this. I'm not spending another $1,800 on top of my Celine bag giving my Celine bag for you. That's not worth it then. So they canceled the order and got the bags back to me in like 2 or 3 business days, which was fine. Then I proceeded to, okay, let's restart this order because I still want that TPM, that Evelyn TPM, right? I restarted the order, and all of a sudden, instead of instant offers, I now have to submit pictures. Like, excuse me? Have I been blacklisted by Rebag by having to submit pictures for every quote I want to get for my bags? So at this point, I was like, okay, this is kind of personal now, right? One, you won't tell me what's wrong with the bag and you can't accept it. And two, now I have to submit photos in order to get quotes instead of using their ClearTrade AI system or whatever it's called and get instant quotes. I mean, that's just a straight slap in the face, especially that my supplier or seller history for 2 years, all of that got thrown out the window apparently with this particular bag. After that, I was just like, okay, let's put this to the test. I submitted the YSL when I got the bag back from Rebag. I took new pictures and sent it off to Fashionphile. Fashionphile took forever to get me a quote, but it was like a week and a half before they came back with a quote. And guess what? They actually offered me they offered me about $250 more than what Rebag was offering. So I'm like, okay, I'm happily going to accept that, package it up, same thing I did for Rebag, and sent it off to Fashionphile. And I will confirm that I just got paid by Fashionphile. Direct deposit just hit my bank account this morning, and they accepted it saying it was real, and I just checked online. It is on their website, ready to be sold. And guess what? It is better because I got cash for it as opposed to doing a trade-in. And just to cover this real quick, Fashionphile usually pays more. They offer more than Rebag. And again, for me, I'm okay with that because I enjoy doing the trade-ins and whatever, and to get like the exchanges of a new bag, new to me bag kind of thing. So I think I use Rebag more than I did Fashionphile. But now, guess what? No more. They have officially been canceled, by me at least. You guys do what you want, but for me, I am no longer touching Rebag. Not buying, not trading, and of course, not selling to them. Okay, that was a lot. So to finish up my rant here, I looked around to see if anybody else had a similar experience with Rebag, or if I was just like an isolated incident. I saw Winnie BLV did as well. So if you are watching this, Winnie, I feel your anger. Like, what is happening? The big 4 major platforms for pre-loved items here in the States, at least, is the RealReal, Fashionphile, Rebag, and eBay, right? Majority of us already said no to the RealReal. We all know why. eBay is kind of sketchy. They're kind of a hit and miss. Sometimes, but not all the times, right? Now Rebag's having issues. So we really only have Fashionphile that's left, that's reliable, right? And if I'm missing any platforms, let me know. First world problems, I know, but this is a hobby for me, right? I work in corporate America and I get trampled by clients and, just work in general on a daily basis. So I come to this, talk to you guys, talk about YouTube, talk about bags or whatever, watch YouTube videos, see other people's unboxings, and it was like, ooh, that's really cool, right? And this is like my happy place, right? So for them to kind of ruin this for me, I'm officially done with them. So, okay, rant done. To wrap things up and talk about happier things as promised, here are a list of topics I worked on this week, and I just want to share them with you guys. Let me know what you think. Plan on doing some indie brands that I don't like. An Hermes Picotin comparison. I know some of you have asked me to cover how I got my Hermes, but then I also did a video with all of the fakes, so I figure it'd be fun to do a side-by-side comparison so you can see what a fake one versus a real one looks like, and of course tell you how I got my Picotin. And of course, a great deal on my Picotin. And I do have a Paris trip coming up. So my friend and I, just to a sneak peek, my friend and I have put together a wish list that we're going to be hopefully getting in Paris, right? And what bag should I bring to Paris? I know Paris is a little crazy right now. So there's a internal debate of what bag I should bring. And then I also know you guys really enjoyed the whole lineup of all of the indie bags that I have, and I did a quick rating system on all of them. Would you guys like to see mod shots of all of them and different outfits I'm wearing with them? You know, maybe I could just be a jack-o'-lantern and sort of just cut off my neck and see the outfits I'm wearing, but then do some mod shots. And then I know I got a couple tag videos that I might do, depending on what time allows me and if I have access to all of the bags, because, you know, I'm splitting time between Chicago as well as Nashville. So yeah, let me know down below which one you want to see first, but that's kind of like my list of all the videos I want to do in the near future. You might get a few surprises here and there in there, but that's like ones that I've written down I think would be interesting. So tell me if you are interested in which one you want to see first. Also, follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. I've been posting random deals here and there, and one of my subscribers, they were able to score an APC Grace bag. I think she was waiting on a deal, and she happened to see my stories, and she made a purchase at a really good price. So I'm super happy for her and was really happy I could help her out. So hit that like and subscribe button, check out my Birkin video here, and then whatever the YouTube algorithm thinks you'll like here next. Life is hard. I want to help you save time and money so that you can somehow adult easier and hopefully less than retail. I'll see you next time.